Something impossible is happening in the depths of space. An object accelerated faster than physics allows, then vanished without a trace. Years later, it reappears, its motion perfectly mirroring Earth itself. Is it a ghost, a hidden technology, or something observing us back? Humanity faces a cosmic mystery that challenges reality, perception, and everything we thought we knew. The vanishing acceleration. Discovery that defied logic. It began with a blip, a flicker buried deep within streams of data from NASA's Deep Space Network. What first appeared to be noise soon revealed motion, a faint object accelerating across the void at an impossible rate. Within hours, observatories in Chile, Hawaii, and China confirmed the readings. The numbers didn't lie. Whatever it was moving faster than any known natural body could. At first, scientists assumed a computational glitch or cosmic lensing distortion. But the consistency of the acceleration pattern left no room for error. This wasn't a satellite, an asteroid, or a fragment of space debris. It was something else, something that defied gravitational logic. Every major telescope was aimed toward the coordinates. Instruments recalibrated, exposure times extended, anticipation building like electricity in the air. Yet when the new images came in, the object was gone. Not faded, gone. No trace in visible light, infrared, or radio frequencies. Even gravitational mapping came back empty, as if the cosmos had swallowed it whole. The disappearance sent shockwaves through the scientific world. Data analysts replayed the readings frame by frame, searching for any clue, a reflection, a residue, a gravitational echo. But all that remained was the proof of motion without a mover, acceleration without a source. Something had crossed the sky at speeds nature should forbid, and then erased its own existence. It wasn't just gone. It had never been there at all. The object with no shadow, first detection and sudden disappearance. It began on a quiet night at the Atacama Observatory, where a team of astronomers were scanning the outer edges of observable space, the cold, dark regions where galaxies blur into silence. Amid the static of distant stars, one anomaly stood out, a faint dot, dim but moving. At first, it looked like an ordinary data artifact, the kind of false positive that plagues deep space surveys. But over the next several hours, the dot moved again, and faster. When plotted against time, the object's acceleration curve made no sense. It wasn't obeying orbital mechanics. It wasn't being pulled, it was pushing itself. The velocity spiked past anything known in the catalog of comets, asteroids, or interstellar debris. Its motion was smooth, deliberate, almost as if it were choosing its direction. Within hours, the alert went global. NASA's James Webb Telescope, China's Fast Array, and the European Southern Observatory all confirmed the sighting. But then came the impossible part. As instruments began switching from optical to infrared for deeper analysis, the object simply vanished. Infrared imaging showed nothing. No thermal signature, no afterglow, no trace of matter scattering behind it. Even gravitational sensors picked up no measurable disturbance. It was as if it had accelerated beyond the fabric of detection itself. Astronomers tried recalibrating their systems, suspecting interference. None was found. The last confirmed frame showed a faint, sharp flare, a final flash before silence. It was dubbed the object with no shadow, a phenomenon that reflected no light, cast no trail, and broke every known law of motion. Something had crossed the limits of visibility, not by accident, but as if it intended to disappear. Theories emerge, natural or artificial. In the days following the disappearance, the world's brightest minds plunged into chaos. Every major observatory, from ALMA to Hubble, rechecked their logs. Every data scientist tried to reconstruct the acceleration curve, but the more they analyzed it, the stranger it became. The object's trajectory didn't just violate physics, it seemed to rewrite them. Some argued for a gravitational slingshot. Maybe the object had passed close to an unseen black hole, gaining velocity through a perfectly aligned maneuver. But for that to happen, there would have to be a massive gravitational source nearby. There wasn't. Space in that region was clean, empty beyond measure. Others proposed quantum lensing, an optical illusion caused by warped space-time. Yet the acceleration data didn't match lensing artifacts. It showed true kinetic change, not distortion. Then came the more daring hypothesis, self-propulsion. Something, or someone, had built an object capable of accelerating without any visible thrust, no heat emission, no radiation plume. A drive that operated outside known energy mechanics, a technology decades, maybe millennia, ahead of human understanding. NASA's chief physicist described it as the first confirmed case of a motive object with no detectable engine. China's National Space Agency called it the most controlled motion ever observed in the universe. But a darker theory emerged in the background, one that unsettled even the most grounded scientists. What if the object wasn't accelerating at all? What if space itself was shifting around it? If true, it would mean a local distortion of space-time, something actively reshaping the fabric of reality. Not propulsion. Manipulation. The debate fractured the scientific community. To some, it was a lost alien probe. To others, a cosmic mirage. But a growing few whispered a more chilling idea, that it wasn't moving away. It was retreating from something that even light could not follow. A ghost in the data, signals without a source. Weeks after the object's disappearance, radio telescopes began to whisper of something impossible. The Deep Space Network caught the first anomaly, a faint rhythmic pulse coming from the exact region where the vanished object was last seen. Not random noise, not cosmic background hum, but structured intervals like the beating of a distant mechanical heart. At first, scientists assumed interference. Yet the signal appeared simultaneously across multiple observatories on different continents, all recording the same precise pattern, a pulse that mirrored the object's acceleration curve before it vanished. Each surge in the data corresponded to a moment when the object had increased speed, as if the universe itself were echoing its motion. But there was no visible emitter, no light, no heat, no trace. Even the most sensitive infrared instruments registered nothing. The region was as black and empty as intergalactic void. Some proposed that the source might be moving faster than light, creating a trail of warped space-time that only radio waves could faintly register. Others speculated it was a residual imprint. The object's acceleration had somehow rung the fabric of the cosmos like a bell, leaving behind an aftershock of energy. Then, one unsettling pattern emerged. When researchers converted the radio pulses into audio, the rhythm wasn't random. It repeated every 2.7 seconds, the same timing used by spacecraft for heartbeat telemetry. It wasn't just a ghost in the data. It was a signal behaving like it was alive, responding, adapting, perhaps even watching. And then, just as suddenly as it began, the transmission ended mid-sequence, as if something had realized we were listening. The dark energy connection, a universe that moves itself. When the mysterious acceleration and disappearance couldn't be explained by propulsion, reflection, or illusion, scientists turned to the one force still wrapped in cosmic mystery, dark energy. For decades, dark energy has been the invisible hand driving the universe's expansion, a silent pressure stretching galaxies farther apart. But what if, for the first time, it wasn't acting on the cosmic scale, but on a localized one? Astrophysicists began running models. The numbers were chilling. The energy required to accelerate the object as observed was identical to the local rate of cosmic expansion, as if a small region of space-time had detached from normal physics and begun to expand on its own. They called it a micro-expansion pocket, a kind of self-contained bubble of dark energy that could bend the rules of motion. In this theory, the object hadn't simply vanished. It had slipped beyond visibility, dragged into a rapidly inflating pocket of space where light itself could no longer escape. To outside observers, it would appear to accelerate, stretch, and dissolve. Not because it moved, but because space itself did. If true, this would mark the first direct interaction between dark energy and matter, rewriting everything we know about cosmic stability. The implications were staggering. Could such bubbles form spontaneously? Could they expand or collapse? Some proposed that these pockets could be the seeds of new universes, tiny fractures in reality birthing isolated dimensions. Others feared the opposite, that one forming near us could one day swallow entire star systems without warning. The vanishing object, once thought to be artificial, now represented something even stranger. Not a machine, but a symptom of the universe's deeper instability. And somewhere in the data, faint signatures hinted that this might not have been the first such event. Perhaps the universe has been quietly creating and erasing itself all along. The artificial hypothesis, hidden technology beyond detection. When the data stopped making sense, imagination filled the silence. The object's perfect disappearance, not a fade, not a drift, but a clean erasure from every spectrum, pushed some scientists to abandon natural explanations altogether. What if it hadn't vanished at all? What if it had simply hidden itself? The theory spread quietly at first, whispered in encrypted forums and late-night research calls, the artificial hypothesis. Perhaps the anomaly wasn't a cosmic fluke, but a technological entity, a probe, a vessel, or something far beyond human comprehension. Its acceleration, they argued, wasn't a violation of physics but the result of manipulated perception, an advanced form of optical cloaking that bent light and absorbed detection across multiple wavelengths. Then came the leaks. A string of classified reports, allegedly from International Defense Archives, suggested that a satellite in polar orbit had tracked the same anomaly days before the public detection, and that its telemetry had been quietly deleted. Inconsistent timestamps, overwritten logs, and encrypted communication bursts between space agencies hinted at something larger, a coordinated effort to suppress data. Was it a secret military experiment? Testing an experimental propulsion or stealth system beyond known capabilities? Or had an unidentified intelligence demonstrated that it could control visibility itself, revealing and concealing at will? Governments issued denials. Agencies released partial datasets, carefully curated, conspicuously incomplete. But within the scientific community, the unease grew. The object's movement pattern before it disappeared resembled a deliberate exit trajectory rather than a random acceleration curve. And then came a chilling realization. The anomaly had last been recorded heading away from Mars, directly toward the outer solar boundary, as if following a predetermined route. Whether human, alien, or something in between, the idea was equally unsettling. Whatever it was, it didn't want to be found. New eyes on the void, quantum telescopes and deep sky reanalysis, when the object vanished, the world's most powerful telescopes were left staring at nothing, a perfect silence in the fabric of space. But nothing has never stopped humanity's curiosity. Within weeks, NASA, ESA, and China's Sky Eye Observatory initiated an unprecedented collaboration, deploying their most experimental instruments, quantum telescopes, capable of detecting subatomic distortions invisible to conventional optics. They aimed their gaze not at a point of light, but at a void, the exact coordinates where the accelerating anomaly had last been seen. The data that came back wasn't simply strange, it was impossible. The region appeared empty, yet the gravitational readings told another story. Space itself was bending, subtly but unmistakably, as though something massive was still there, unseen, undetectable. A gravitational echo. It was as if the universe was still reacting to an object that no longer existed. Quantum interference patterns showed residual fluctuations, faint ripples that behaved like afterimages in space-time, as if the object had pressed against the cosmic fabric and left a lasting imprint. It's like finding a footprint, one researcher said. but the foot never belonged to anything we can describe. Some theorists suggested a localized quantum displacement event, where matter could shift between realities or dimensions. Others whispered about dark matter manifestations, entities composed entirely of invisible mass and gravity. Still, one haunting possibility overshadowed the rest. What if the object hadn't disappeared at all, but slipped into a hidden layer of reality, one we're only beginning to perceive through quantum eyes? For the first time, humanity wasn't staring into the dark to find light. It was staring into emptiness, and realizing that even the void was alive with secrets. When physics fails, redefining reality itself, in every great scientific revolution, there comes a moment when the equations stop making sense, when observation defies prediction, and the universe quietly admits that we've been missing something fundamental. The disappearance of the accelerating object was that moment. What began as a question of velocity had become a question of reality itself. The data didn't just break Newtonian mechanics. It shattered Einstein's cosmic logic. The object's acceleration hadn't been through space. It appeared that space was moving around it, expanding and contracting as if reality were fluid, responsive, and alive. Physicists struggled to reconcile the numbers. Space-time fluctuations, quantum entanglement echoes, variable constants, all of it painted a picture too strange to categorize. "We're not observing an object within the universe," one researcher remarked. "We're observing the universe reacting to something outside it." Some theorists proposed a radical idea. The anomaly wasn't moving at all. Instead, it could be anchored in a deeper framework of reality, manipulating the structure of space-time itself. Not a traveler, but a pivot around which reality folded. Others went further, suggesting we might be witnessing a coded event, an expression of physical laws rewritten at runtime, as if the cosmos itself were programmable. Could the universe behave like a simulation, with certain entities capable of rewriting its parameters? Philosophers joined the debate, blurring lines between science and metaphysics. If space-time can bend around a single point, if matter can vanish but leave gravitational echoes, then what is real at all? Perhaps, one physicist mused, reality isn't a fixed stage, it's an evolving script. The vanishing object didn't just challenge science, it exposed the limits of human understanding. For the first time, we weren't asking what the universe is, but who or what might be writing it. The cosmic mirror, humanity's reflection in the unknown, in the aftermath of the vanishing. Silence became the loudest discovery of all. Telescopes continued to stare into the coordinates where the anomaly once glowed, but the cosmos gave nothing back. No light, no signal, no explanation. Only an emptiness so perfect it seemed deliberate. And in that silence, humanity found its own reflection. For centuries, we've looked outward, chasing galaxies, decoding radiation, building instruments to pierce the infinite. Yet the deeper we stare into the universe, the more it feels as though the universe is quietly staring back, studying us with the same detached curiosity we project onto it. Perhaps the mystery isn't just out there in the void. Perhaps it's within us, mirrored in our unrelenting need to know. Scientists called it a cosmic puzzle. Philosophers called it a test. But poets and dreamers called it something else. A mirror held up by the cosmos itself, reflecting our ambition, our fear, our fragile desire to matter in a universe that owes us no answers. Maybe the object never vanished at all. Maybe it simply revealed the limit of our perception, the edge of the map where science meets faith. In trying to see the unseen, we may have brushed against the boundary between knowing and being known. As data logs fade and instruments fall silent, one truth remains. The universe doesn't hide its secrets out of malice. It hides them out of scale. And perhaps, somewhere beyond the veil of what we can measure, the cosmos is still whispering, not in signals or equations, but in a quiet challenge. If you wish to understand me, first understand yourselves. The Silent Return, Final revelation years passed. The world had moved on. The anomaly reduced to a footnote in scientific archives, a mystery without closure. Then, one night, a deep space observatory in Chile began a routine sky survey. The coordinates were familiar, a region long dismissed as empty. Yet in the quiet hum of the data stream, a pattern emerged, acceleration, the same rhythm, the same impossible curve. At first, the team thought it was an artifact, a glitch, perhaps a remnant echo from past data. But as they refined the signal, something unsettling appeared. The motion wasn't random. It was synchronized, perfectly matching the subtle orbital oscillations of Earth itself. The discovery spread through encrypted channels before reaching public awareness. What had once been a vanishing object was now a mirror, a reflection of our own cosmic footprint. It was as if the void had remembered us, or was responding. NASA and ESA analysts ran every test imaginable, ruling out interference, calibration errors, or atmospheric distortion. The conclusion none dared to write aloud lingered in silence. Whatever it was, it hadn't left. It had learned. Now it was moving, not away from us, but with us. And as telescopes turned once more toward that familiar patch of darkness, scientists and dreamers alike felt the same chill. Perhaps the thing we discovered wasn't just out there in space. It had found its way into our reflection.